Shit, it's not like to last any longer. Ball's moving by. Pull the trigger. Fancy one.
I bet someone will fucking piss up from goal. I bet. I don't think he scored one outside of the 6-yard box.
Opening the scoring for Blackburn Rovers, number 23, Yuki Ohashi.
Right, play on!
The officials have agreed there will be a minimum of 2 minutes at a time. 2 minutes.
He'll walk on with a yellow card. Get the fucking book walking off. Sean, will you sit down? There's no one ready, dickhead.
We're captain now.
You have to do. One way wide.
Would That's a short 3-2.
Placing number 43, George Pratt, is number 14, Dion Denis.
Pratt's off. Brilliant, that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are just awaiting a final word from the referee on how to proceed here, but if you are leaving from the riverside, please do leave via the gate at the Blackburn end as opposed to the garden end. Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
situation, please do stay in your seats and we'll provide updates as soon as we possibly can.
I'll tell you what though,
I think so with what's happened.
Come on, Red, for fuck's sake.
hold on a minute, is there a requirement that the ball has to bounce?
Must be. Trying.
This is fucking ridiculous.
He's desperately trying.
No, sorry, this is nonsense. This is nonsense. I'm going to stop bloody watching. It's fucking ridiculous.
If the clapping fans out there.
Look at that bloody ball go there. Seriously?
If you're a Blackburn player right now, you're thinking, I'm fucking off. This is
Ladies and
embarrassing.
gentlemen, please accept our sincere apologies for the inconvenience, but unfortunately this game has been called off by the officials. A rescheduled fixture will be communicated with all supporters in due course, but once again we'd like to extend our sincere apologies to everybody attending today. Please do be safe getting home, and we hope to see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.
Captain the Green.
Never seen anything like that. They're not going to play, are they?
Farcical. Well, I was told the sleeve would work. There wouldn't be any problems anymore. Told you. Ishmael must be fuming.
Really, no?
It's typical, isn't it? It's said when I went to that fans forum, they put a sleeve on to sort this shit out. Clearly not.
It's not raining. There's every fucking football.
Twice in a season is unheard of.
Yeah, we call it off earlier though.
Nothing wrong with that.
Joke.
Lost him. He's lost him.
A message to Lindsay Talbot. Well, this is deja vu again, isn't it? On the 20th of October at the fans forum, and I'm paraphrasing here, you said, "We've put a sleeve on the drain to empty the water further down the river. It's come at significant cost to the club that will prevent it happening again." I'll attach a picture of the significantly costly sleeve that has been attached to the river. It doesn't look significantly costly from what I can tell. I asked whether the sleeve will definitely improve the situation and whether we'll be in the same situation in a year or two's time where we're having an Ipswich fiasco again. It didn't even take a year or two's time, it took 3 months. Lindsay responded, "We hope so." The club has bought Trevor, the groundsman, a piece of equipment to help with the pitch. The device will punch holes into the pitch. This device has been proven to improve drainage. Well, it has been proven today that it clearly does not. Preston, Accrington, Wigan, all within a stone's throw of Ewood Park, all had games at home today, all completed. How is it that we are the only club in the Northwest? How are we the only club, as far as I know, in the entire country that has only had 2 home games cancelled this year? The players must be livid. Valérien Ismaël must be livid. To be twice 1-0 up at home, we desperately need a home win. We've got 1 home win. We've had more games bloody cancelled at home than we do bloody home wins. Absolutely outrageous. Lindsay Talbot, if you've got anything about you, you need to walk after this. Absolutely embarrassing. That pitch needs some proper bloody work doing to it. And anyone who defends the Venkies, you cannot defend this. It costs nothing in terms of FFP for the club to put money into the pitch and make sure it's up to standards. It clearly bloody isn't, and the EFL should come down hard on the Venkies, and there should be real scrutiny around this club. And I hope the media properly picks this up and shows that this is the absolute embodiment of everything that is going wrong with Blackburn Rovers on and off the pitch. Well, now that I've had my little rant, let's try and talk about 70 minutes of the game anyway. Well, unfortunately, I was 15 minutes late, which is why there wasn't anything from the start of the game, but the weather and Roman Road being closed didn't really help in terms of getting to Ewood today from Darwin. So, I mean, wasn't the best performance, as you could probably tell by some of the early clips before we scored. The home fans weren't very happy with the kind of performance that was being served up until we scored. Fans being fans, obviously, as soon as we scored, the tempers kind of died down. But, I mean, it wasn't good enough, to be fair. And we're playing the worst team in the league at home. So, you would be hoping for more. So, for sure, I mean, it's a huge miss that him going off injured, if anyone actually remembers that from today. Obviously the headlines from today will obviously be about the pitch once again. But yeah, what a huge blow that is. I mean, he's been absolutely brilliant whenever he's been called upon this season, and it seems like we've maybe pushed him maybe a bit too far. I mean, I don't think anyone would have thought coming into this season we'd see Forshaw starting any games, never mind back-to-back games. You know, obviously when you're playing twice a week, it's going to take its toll on you, and it seems it did today, and he's gone off injured. So hopefully he's not out for too long, because to be fair to him, he's actually been class. He really has, and I think some people do need to put a bit of respect on his name. I mean, the goal, those two linking up again, isn't it? I think bar the whole goal which Yuki scored and obviously knew nothing about, I think every single other goal he scored has been assisted by Morishita. The Bristol goal definitely was, today was, and I think I'm led to believe there was another goal against Sheffield United, I'm going to say. I can't remember that goal off the top of my head, but clearly, you know, sort of a lot of link-up play going on there, and it does seem whenever Morishita gets the ball, he just looks up and tries to find Yuki. So it's good to see that kind of relationship starting to come, and it's good to see Yuki starting to get a couple more goals. Obviously, Good Johnson seems to be the talisman. Didn't score today, not that it would have meant anything. Not that the Yuki goal means anything at this point, unfortunately. Obviously, like the Todd Cantwell goal, it'll get wiped off the face of the earth like it never happened. So that is a shame for Yuki. But should give him some confidence anyway, just putting the ball in the back of the net. He's not quite been up to the standards which I thought he'd get up to this season. I thought off the back of last season, being his first in English football, obviously having an injury, was out for a while, didn't even start a lot of the games at the start of the season. That was Maktar. I thought he'd maybe push for 15, 20 goals this season. Seems like that's going to be Good Johnson, hopefully getting those numbers. But yeah, I'm glad to see, you know, that obviously happen. We were fairly comfortable. Sheffield Wednesday didn't have any chances of naught bar one, which actually now I remember right at the start of the second half, we moved to a back four, which we obviously haven't seen for months at this point. Obviously, Pratt went off injured, I assume. He was on a yellow, so maybe it was a cautionary substitution. But yeah, Pratt goes off, and we moved to a back four. Ribeiro obviously started the game. I didn't think he was great in the wing-back position in that first half, I'll be honest, and obviously in the second half he was back in his natural position, which suited him a lot more, but in that wing-back position I just don't think he has enough going forwards, personally, to be a wing-back. I can understand why he was put in after some of the criticisms obviously Denev's got against him. You know, the two last-minute goals we've conceded have both been on the man he was marking, which obviously isn't a good look. So I can understand why Ribeiro got the nod today instead of Denev, with Hedges being out injured, which is a real shame again. You know, it's definitely the best season Hedges has had in a Rovers shirt, that's for sure. Not that that's saying much, but yeah, I think it's a blow, that, and I mean the injuries are just, you know, going up and up and up and up, and it's not doing us any favours at the minute, that's for sure. And we do maybe need to look at ourselves as to what's maybe going on the training pitch, as to why we're getting this many injuries. It seems a abnormal amount, to be quite honest. So yeah, Ribeiro wasn't really doing it for me at wing back, but thankfully we got the goal. And yeah, as I said, I completely lost track of what I was on about. We nearly conceded start of the second half, but Ainsley Pears pulled off a brilliant save with his outstretched leg. You know, proving the doubters wrong, to be fair. I think he's been fairly solid since coming back into this team. Don't get me wrong, once Toff is fully fit, I think he will be a shoo-in to go back in. Some of the saves Toff were making before he got injured were unbelievable, and was definitely up there in terms of player of the season this year. I'd say probably Albiasu first, Todd second, and then Toff at the time. But yeah, Pears stepped up today when needed with that save. Not that it mattered, obviously, but you know, sloppy from Miller, giving the ball away so easily as he does, and obviously in a back four, you're going to get exposed way more than you are in a back five. And I'm just not sure he's a centre half in a two, personally. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say, obviously, than I'm so disappointed that obviously we're here again, 1-0 up, and we've got another game added to the fixture list in an already congested Championship fixture list. We've got the FA Cup round the corner, that's getting drawn on Monday. It's just the last thing we need, and obviously we've got so many injuries in this squad. It's, you know, threadbare as it is. We don't need to be adding more pressure to these guys. And it just seems right now that if there's a heavy period of rain, there's just no point going down to Ewood Park, because the game's just going to get called off in the second half. There's a lot of people off the back of today that are saying, well, why am I going to come on Tuesday? Because it's due to rain every single day from now till then. So the game's just going to get called off in the second half. And I can't blame fans for thinking that way, especially when they can stay at home and watch it on Sky. And that is really not in a position where we want to be as a club, where we've got people who aren't going to buy matchday tickets, because why are they going to buy a matchday ticket for a game that could get called off, could quite easily get called off and means nothing? And then, you know, that whole that whole buying of the tickets, parting with your money, is just completely pointless. And obviously the club are not going to give any sort of refunds to anyone, which, you know, in my opinion, they should be at this point, because it is just bloody shameful. I mean, in terms of, you know, as you probably heard, my great uncle I was sat next to today saying, you know, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, before I was around, you know, the pitch today would have been amazing to have played on, you know. Obviously, we have to play by the rules that are set. As much as I would have loved to have seen the game go on, and every single person in the stadium, bar the Sheffield Wednesday fans, probably wanted to see the game go on. I mean, obviously, leg breaks, things like this. Just the ref doing his job ultimately. And do I think it was as bad as the Ipswich game? No. I think the Ipswich game was a hell of a lot worse than today. Is that due to the measures the club have put in? Potentially. Potentially that's why it wasn't as bad as it seemed to me, the pitch. I think the ref could have quite easily played on. You know, the ball was bouncing, as I showed on the video. But he hasn't, for whatever reason. It'd be interesting to know as to why. And yeah, I mean, it's just quite clear that we are putting a plaster over an axe wound when it comes to this pitch. It just quite clearly needs ripping up and putting some sort of drainage system underneath or whatever, to sort this out, because, you know, the club should be heavily fined after this. For it to happen twice in a season is just unheard of, to be honest with you, especially for a Championship club. A club that was, you know, one win off making the playoffs to the Premier League last year. Imagine if this was happening in the Premier League. Bloody hell. Just, yeah. Embarrassing. Really embarrassing. And adds to a list of increasingly growing, embarrassing things happening at this club at the minute. The Lancashire Telegraph, the January transfer window fiascos. Need I go on? Yeah, anyway. Thanks for watching, guys. Ultimately a pointless video, but I'm sure you guys enjoyed it nevertheless, and enjoyed my my rant. I hope you did anyway. And yeah, I mean, I suppose I'll be back on Tuesday doing it all over again, and let's hope we don't make it 3 games this season where we have to cancel the game due to rain. Cheers for watching, guys. Make sure to like, give it a share, and obviously subscribe to watch out for future videos.